innovation and virtual assets as we set up the stage for our last and final panel for the day. Last year, when when the acronym NFT just started, being thrown around for us outsiders of the industry, I asked two of my friends, they're traditional bankers in very well-known financial institutions that we shall not name for now, and I asked them, this NFT thing, I'm thinking about it. I have a small amount. I always like to just play around when it comes to new investments and technology. Should I go for it? You're bankers, you're finance experts. I'm not. I'm just a media personality. And I remember both of them looked at me and they said, oh, you have a small amount? Why don't you just take it and flush it down the toilet? That's faster than investing it in NFT. So there was, and I think still is, this look between the traditional financing bankers and this emerging virtual assets. I did invest it, by the way, in NFT. It is a small amount. I'm still learning a lot. But what I learned from Marcel's presentation today is that you don't necessarily have to be the only entity or the only person in the world offering that service to be the best at it. It's the way you offer that service, or the way you connect with people and the way you connect point A to point B, what makes you an innovator or have more impact than anyone else. Now, this ties us beautifully into the last session focusing on Web3, particularly Web3 and virtual assets, so connecting both, pioneering the future and inclusive finance. There was a lot of questions coming from emerging markets about making this inclusive. The session will discuss how the transformative potential of Web 3.0 technologies and virtual assets in reshaping this landscape. I cannot think of anyone better than our moderator to take this conversation, our final conversation of day 2. Please welcome Feng Wang, Editor-in-Chief, ftchinese.com.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're at the last panel of the first SuperBridge Summit. Very excited to invite our two speakers to the stage right now, Ms. Lan Shi and Mr. Lennox Lai, some of the most innovative, pioneering business leaders in the realm of Web3 and blockchain. Please. If I may make a very brief introduction and get our panel started. Ms. Lan Shi, she is the founder and CEO of CoCafes, which is one of China's first NFT and Web3 marketing organizations. And Mr. Lennox Lai is the Global Chief Commercial Officer of OKX, which hardly requires much introduction, but it is one of the world's largest virtual asset trading platforms, as well as a major player in the Web3 and virtual crypto exchange business. Thank you very much. Welcome to the last panel of the SuperBridge Summit. If I may get a first question in recent years, the Middle East, the Gulf region, in particular Dubai, is often referred to as the new Mecca of the crypto and Web3 industry. And obviously, you are both here. You are no strangers here. You travel quite frequently to this region. May I ask, for this particular trip to Dubai, what kind of opportunities and new business models, new partnerships are you exploring here? Ms. Shi?
Sure. I think since the last 2 years, Dubai has its Web3 and AI campus. Dubai has the first regulatory vendor and also the Dubai Metaverse strategy. It's really impressive how advanced and how emerging this market is. So this time during my trip, I'm quite interested to look into how the region is applying these emerging technologies, especially in artificial intelligence, XR, Metaverse, and also Web3. Because CoCafe, we founded it 2 years ago as a pioneer in, we believe, one of 3 core technologies in this intelligent era. They are AI, Metaverse, XR, and Web3. So we are the first Web3 marketing provider for most MNCs in China, including McDonald's, Porsche, quite a few. And also we revolutionize how these consumer brands engage their customers from the traditional CRM to the new loyalty program based on blockchain and Web3 technologies. And I'm very curious in Dubai because this is really the hottest hub for Web3 virtual assets and metaverse. How can we expand the business from Dubai, from the Gulf region to the whole world? So that's what I'm looking for.
Thanks, Ms. Shi. The moment you mentioned AI and blockchain, I think a lot of eyes lit up in this audience. I'm sure we'll have time to explore more details about how you put them into application. Mr. Lai, obviously OKX, one of the biggest players in the field right now. What opportunities are you looking at here?
Yeah, I think, so Web3, we think, is a particular piece of technology that's a combination of tech and finance. So you build a tech, but as long as you need to respect the financial nature of this particular piece of technologies. If you touch finance, it means that you need to find a place for somehow touch regulations, right? So our strategy is we're looking for regional hubs that are particularly open, flexible, in terms of regulatory aspect for this particular virtual asset industry. And Dubai is happen to be one of the place, right? So as a technological company, we actually want one regulator to actually export passport to everywhere, but I think it's impossible. But Dubai is particularly interesting because we have been here for like 1 or 2 years exploring, talking to regulators. They particularly build a specific regime just for our industry, just for virtual asset industry. I think that's already a good start. And I think this particularly regulatory license regime can help our business to passport our licensing regime to the entire MENA region. That's why we're based here. We build an office here, build a local team here.
Elsewhere in the world, the industry is under the double whammy of, there's the virtual asset bear market. There's also the increasingly tight regulatory environment with major economies in the world. So a lot of adversity out there. Partly, that probably explains why efforts to bridge traditional finance and Web3, crypto, blockchain have kind of faltered or stagnated in recent years. But of course, people are looking at new opportunities. Players are agitating for breakthroughs. In terms of technology, in terms of new business models, what do you think are the potential breakthroughs from the current stagnation? Ms. Shi?
For us, we think it's quite important to look beyond the virtual assets and cryptocurrencies. We all know that in China, we have different regulations in cryptocurrencies. So most people say, hey, you don't have Web3 in China. That's not the case. Actually, we think it's quite important we establish the model how we combine Web3 technologies to the real life, to apply it when we have thousands, millions of users, they can adopt this Web3 decentralized, trust-based technologies, but also utilize what we already have in the infrastructure in Web2. I'll give you an example. When we work with a very leading EV company in China, they release their new cars. It's very competitive. There are hundreds of new EV cars released every year in the market. The traditional way is they build a huge booth, and they have big campaigns, they spend millions of dollars in the marketing campaign. But this time, we utilize NFTs we utilize NFT combined with the mini program of WeChat to build up actually digital ID-based customer database. And also we combine these digital AI avatars with their KOLs in the social media. There are tons of short videos generated by AI video. And we also combine with the robotic driving experience with people's desire to create something together great, more than driving a car. So we name it Robot AI. It's not a car, it's actually a robot AI. And we utilize the EV energy together to the computing power together. All the new customers of this EV car combined as a community, they can achieve something greater than themselves. And we even coordinated with the Chinese NASA pod. So those people go up to the moon. So it really creates a buzz in the market because it's more than you buying a car. You actually, when you buy this car, you invest in decentralized technology, you invest in AI avatar, your fellow drivers, your fellow fans of this EV car is something they aim to go to the moon together, utilize EV computing power. So that's something we do to combine these conceptual emerging technologies with the real commercial cases. We generate revenue and we generated real customers of our Web3 community. And that's one of the worst things for Web3 is they tend to say we are Web3 natural. So if you don't download our very sophisticated software, then you are not belong to us. But we do the opposite way. We make it very natural for people to adopt it. They don't even realize it, but they are already into this immersive, emerging new technology.
Wow, it's so fascinating to learn that selling cars, EVs, in the Web3 age has become such a fascinating, thrilling experience. You have to bring so much more to the table in just selling this vehicle. It's like selling a complete set of technologies and revolutionary experiences to your customers. I think that's eye-opening to, I'm sure, a lot of our audience members here. Mr. Lai, from our previous interviews before in Hong Kong, I learned that you have OKX has invested heavily into Web3, also into AI, and developing a lot of, again, new potential business models, scenarios, and applications. Could you share with us some of the most successful examples?
Yeah, I think the paradigm shift a little bit after we are like a 6 or 10 years company already. We spent the last 5 years or 4 years in terms of what we call the blockchain innovation. We focus on scalability. We look into security. So this year, new factor kick in is called regulation, and it's also global phenomenon. So the good thing about yes, the crypto market is obviously facing some kind of regulatory scrutinization, but I think it's also sparked another new business model, because the good element for it is previously we spent 3 or 4 years looking to be regulated, but starting for this year, we have license to apply. We have relatively flexible or relatively visible license to apply in global scale. So the good thing about it is it would maybe probably take 1 year or 2 years. It will raise the bar of the entire Web3 industry, similar with the traditional finance. So we are talking about the same language. Give it a very simple example. Previously, we talked about a lot on DeFi, decentralized finance. So the decentralized DeFi means there's the interest rate elements within DeFi, and also the interest rates element within TradFine. And we spend a lot of time doing interest rate comparison and fund in and outflow in between these two, kind of like separated and isolated financial system. With the regulation kicked in, we see that these two worlds kind of merge together, and we see seamless fund flow, capital flow between DeFi and traditional finance. And that's create another whole new set of financial interesting instruments. And most importantly, this kind of crypto instrument can be traded and priced in global scale. So that's part and other new thinking of if you're operating a financial institution, whether it's your bank, asset manager, crypto exchange, OTC desk, or market makers, you need to think about, hey, that probably and other parallel financial system that run parallel within localized financial markets.
We are at Superbridge, we're at GITEX, we're in Dubai, so it goes without saying we cannot reach new depths in this discussion without talking about AI and expanding on AI. Obviously, there's a high expectation in both the blockchain and AI industries about the potential convergence of these two exciting new technologies. But at the same time, both technologies also have their own trust issues and regulatory issues. When you talk about the exciting new opportunities, combining these two, clashing together, creating new opportunities and new applications, how do you manage the trust issues and the risks, Ms. Shi?
That's a good question, because when we talk about AI and Web3, the first thing coming to mind is regulations and governance. So for us in China, the number one for us, because all of our clients are multinational Fortune 500 companies or very big companies, and compliance is very important to them. So the first thing we do is to assure them that the technology we apply is fully compliant with the local region we operate. So to establish confidence of the regulators, then we realized they actually welcome the conversations with us, because they actually want to build a sandbox for the new technologies. They want to see how we can apply them in a huge market. Let me give you another example. It's about an AI avatar. Right now, AI avatar is a huge business in China. There's a company, a startup. They are beginning to selling these AI avatars to do this e-commerce broadcasting to sell goods. Can you imagine how many avatars they have sold only in this year? In the Chinese version of TikTok, in Douyin, they have 50,000 broadcasting rooms generated by this company. And behind this is all AI avatars. And to give you a sense of the cost saving, when we produce a short video, if based on experts, say we invite firm to shoot a video for our clients, it's at least 500 RMB per video. But when you use your AI avatar, we can lower the cost to 1/10 of it, or even less. And the time saving is more than 95%. So imagine that how much cost we save for a company. And also, actually, when we combine the data, when we actually do the advertisement data analysis, the AI avatar's performance is better than human beings, because they are fitted with the best practice of the data we collected from all the social media, from Redbook, from WeChat, from everything. So they know what to say based on the best performers in the market. It's above average level. That's all promising, but everyone, when they look at the AI avatar, the first thing come to their mind is, I can tell, is this real person or this is generated by AI? So the first thing is they become to get the fear inside. They don't want to invest in it if there's a huge risk. So we have to work with lawyers, regulators, technologists to assure that the step we take is minor, step by step, so that we can protect the market. Otherwise, the market will be shut down by the government if we generate huge issues in privacy, in this, everything in the crimes. So that's one example of how we promote our technologies based on our constant conversation with regulators, with industry players. And I think that's in a healthy way. And I think that's the lessons we learned from the Web3 industry. The historical collapse of FTX is definitely devastating for the whole industry. We don't want to see it again. Yeah.
I think it might also help for our audience to get a little bit background information of the half a dozen or so AI regulation laws that's already been passed in China. There are specific clauses governing AI avatars, you just mentioned, or virtual humans. Chinese AI laws these days require these AI avatars to be almost as closely regulated and registered as real human beings. You have to provide all sorts of credentials if you use these AI avatars to do business. I think that's pretty interesting, and that's very different from other AI-related regulatory efforts in other jurisdictions. So Mr. Lai, the regulators in your home market in Hong Kong, especially the financial regulators, are very jittery right now with the recent, that there's this crypto investment fraud scandal in Hong Kong, huge case involving thousands of individual investors. Against such a backdrop, and against increasingly tight regulatory environment worldwide, how do you build trust, especially when you build AI and other new technologies into your products and your services?
Yeah, I think exchange platform is essentially a financial institution. So we build trust. On the first level, build trust is to match the standards as with a bank or as with a brokers, and that is maybe what we call the level one. The level two, that's how we build trust, is we are always thinking about how we could build trust based on technology, right? So the class, no matter whether or not what kind of business model that you're operating, if you're operating a financial institution and you're managing client money, you have to comply in terms of investment protection, KYC, AML, and also transaction marketing, trade surveillance, these kind of aspects. But some of the elements that can be leveraged on blockchain technology, for example, if we are managing client money, traditionally we need to hire an auditor to regularly visit and take a look at the inventory based on accounting principle and standard, and issue a third-party independent report. That's one way of doing this. But in blockchain technology, there's something that we can do is for almost basically every penny, every crypto that deposits into the exchange, it can be instantly verifiable on blockchain. So we can perform probably monthly audit with a fraction of cost and purely based on technologies, and also 100% verifiable, trustable, purely based on mathematics and technologies. And user, auditor, lawyer, regulator can just click on the website and verify whether or not this trace of crypto is real or not, whether or not it's physically stored on the exchange right now. So I think our industry bring in more transparency with somehow a certain level of blockchain technology. We are hoping to push this technology forward to even more asset class, to even more business model.
The traditional finance sector, giant industry with huge interests at stake, they have, especially under the current regulatory scheme, they have been quite slow in terms of pushing forward inclusive finance through new technologies. So in 5 years' time, let's imagine, who do you think will be playing the more progressive role in pushing forward inclusive finance? Would it be a reformed traditional finance sector, or would it be empowered crypto and Web3 finance businesses and industries?
Yeah, I think I think that's previous slide we mentioned. There's 2 billion of unbanked populations. That's true, and we also seeing crypto somehow solving this problem, because in technology perspective, you can access to all kind of financial products with a fractional cost with a mobile phone and internet. And the major obstacle of operating a financial institution in remote area primarily basically cost a large amount of cost. So you can only bear a minimum amount of balance if you open a bank account. But crypto can somehow solve that. But at the same time, we need traditional finance sector to match with us in terms of technology, integration, and regulations.
And Ms. Shi, you mentioned these cases, examples of working with the EV industry, for example. What about the Chinese finance industry? They are known to be, quite innovative in adopting some new technologies. But from your experience working with some of them, where do you see new efforts from the traditional Chinese financial industry happening in terms of inclusive finance?
We have to say this is not a problem in China. If you go to China, even in a grocery market, you look at those people very old, they can get their WeChat Pay or Alipay. It's quite easy. So we skip the credit card stage. We go into the mobile payment. But in other parts of the financial industry, I think there's definitely a lot we can do with Web3 technologies. For example, we mentioned loyalty program. We actually work with China Union to do this loyalty program to ally these bigger, major airlines, banks, and also supermarkets. Those, they have big retail chains, they have a lot of points. And so utilize Web3 technologies, we can actually streamline the process, how people is utilizing these points. But unfortunately, we don't have token in mainland, so it's the scenarios we can do is relatively limited. So we hope we can explore the ideas outside mainland, maybe in Dubai, maybe in Hong Kong, maybe in the rest of the world, so that we can get more consumers get into the Web3 arena. And that's most important for all these Web3 companies to grow. We need to work with the 7 billion people, not only 70 million people. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. I think with that, we'll wrap up our last panel and thank our 2 innovative business leaders for sharing their fascinating stories. Thank you.